California is burning. Record-breaking temperatures, raging wildfires. The Golden State, known for its picturesque landscapes and vibrant cities, is now a battleground against nature's fury. The flames are relentless, consuming everything in their path, leaving behind a trail of devastation and despair. The state is facing the brutal reality of the climate crisis. The once mild and temperate climate of California is now a distant memory, replaced by extreme weather patterns that are becoming the new norm. The sun, once a symbol of warmth and life, now beats down with an unforgiving intensity, turning the land into a furnace. In recent years, California has been hit by a series of intense heat waves, pushing its infrastructure and its people to the brink. The power grid is strained, water supplies are dwindling, and the health of residents is at risk. Hospitals are overwhelmed with cases of heat stroke and dehydration, and the elderly and vulnerable are particularly at risk. These heat waves are not isolated incidents. They are a clear and present danger, a taste of the future in a warming world. Scientists warn that if global temperatures continue to rise, these extreme weather events will become more frequent and more severe, posing an existential threat to communities across the state. The culprit? A meteorological phenomenon known as a heat dome. This occurs when a high-pressure system traps heat in the atmosphere, creating a bubble of scorching temperatures that can last for days or even weeks. The heat dome acts like a lid, preventing cooler air from entering and exacerbating the already sweltering conditions. But the root cause runs much deeper: climate change. Human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation have led to an increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This has resulted in a warming planet with far-reaching consequences for our climate. The effects of climate change are not limited to heat waves and wildfires. They also include rising sea levels, more intense storms, and disruptions to ecosystems and agriculture. Coastal areas in California are already feeling the impact of rising sea levels, with erosion and flooding becoming more common. Communities are being forced to adapt, but the challenges are immense. The economic cost of these changes is staggering, and the social and environmental toll is even greater. Agriculture, a cornerstone of California's economy, is also under threat. Prolonged droughts and unpredictable weather patterns are making it increasingly difficult for farmers to grow crops and raise livestock. Water scarcity is a major concern, and the competition for this precious resource is intensifying. Despite these challenges, there is hope. Communities across California are coming together to combat climate change and build resilience. From grassroots movements to statewide initiatives, efforts are being made to reduce carbon emissions, promote renewable energy, and protect natural resources. The road ahead is long and difficult, but the spirit of innovation and determination that defines California is driving the fight for a sustainable future. Renewable energy is at the forefront of this battle. Wind turbines and solar panels are becoming a common sight across the state, harnessing the power of nature to generate clean, sustainable energy. These technologies not only reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, but also create jobs and stimulate economic growth. The youth of California are also playing a crucial role in this fight. Young activists are raising their voices, demanding action from leaders and inspiring others to join the cause. Their passion and commitment are a powerful force for change, reminding us that the future is in our hands. California's natural beauty is worth fighting for. From its majestic forests to its arid deserts, the state's diverse ecosystems are a testament to the wonders of nature. Protecting these landscapes is not just an environmental imperative, but a moral one, ensuring that future generations can enjoy the splendor of the Golden State. As California rebuilds and recovers from the devastation of wildfires and heat waves, the resilience and hope of its people shine through. The challenges are great, but so is the resolve to overcome them. Together, Californians are forging a path towards a brighter, more sustainable future. The sun sets over California, casting a warm glow over the land. It is a symbol of hope and a new beginning. The journey ahead is fraught with obstacles, but with determination and unity, California can rise from the ashes and lead the way in the fight against climate change. Imagine a massive dome of high pressure trapping heat over a region. That's a heat dome. This phenomenon occurs when a high-pressure system becomes stationary over an area, acting like a lid that traps heat. The air under this dome gets compressed and heats up, creating a sweltering environment that can last for days or even weeks. This atmospheric lid prevents hot air from escaping, essentially locking in the heat. The high-pressure system forces the air to sink, and as it descends, it compresses and warms up even more. This process exacerbates the already high temperatures, making the heat dome effect even more intense, leading to scorching temperatures on the ground. These extreme heat waves can have severe impacts on human health, agriculture, and infrastructure. People are at risk of heat-related illnesses such as heat stroke and dehydration. Crops can wither under the relentless sun, and roads and railways can buckle from the intense heat. These heat domes are becoming more frequent and intense due to climate change. As global temperatures rise, the conditions that lead to the formation of heat domes are becoming more common. This means that we can expect to see more of these extreme weather events in the future, with potentially devastating consequences. As greenhouse gas emissions warm the planet, the jet stream, a band of high-altitude winds, is disrupted. The jet stream typically acts as a barrier that separates different weather systems. However, when it becomes weakened or wavy due to the warming climate, it can allow high-pressure systems to linger over an area for longer periods. This disruption can cause weather patterns to stall, leading to prolonged periods of extreme heat. When the jet stream stalls, it can trap heat domes in place, causing them to persist and intensify. This can result in extended heat waves that can last for weeks, putting immense strain on communities and ecosystems. Maria, a single mother in Fresno, works as a farm laborer. She wakes up before dawn, leaving her children still asleep, to head out to the fields. Her day is long and grueling, often stretching from sunrise to sunset. The work is physically demanding, and the pay is meager, but it's the only way she can provide for her family. During the recent heat wave, temperatures in the fields soared above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. The relentless sun beats down, turning the fields into a furnace. The air is thick and heavy, making it hard to breathe. The heat is not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Prolonged exposure can lead to serious health issues, including heat stroke and dehydration. Maria, forced to choose between her health and her livelihood, continued working to provide for her children. She knows the risks, but the fear of not being able to feed her children outweighs the fear of the heat. Each day she pushes her body to its limits, hoping she can make it through without collapsing. She suffered from heat exhaustion, collapsing in the fields. Her body, unable to cope with the extreme temperatures, gave out. She was rushed to the hospital where doctors warned her that continuing to work in such conditions could be fatal. Maria's story is not unique. Thousands of farm workers across California face the same harsh reality. They work in extreme conditions, with little to no protection from the heat. Many suffer from heat-related illnesses, and some, tragically, do not survive. Millions of Californians, especially outdoor workers, the elderly, and low-income communities, are bearing the brunt of extreme heat. These vulnerable populations often lack access to air conditioning and other cooling measures, making them particularly susceptible to heat-related illnesses. As climate change continues to drive temperatures higher, the need for comprehensive solutions to protect these communities becomes increasingly urgent. From providing adequate shade and hydration for farm workers to ensuring that all residents have access to cooling centers, there is much work to be done to safeguard the health and well-being of those most at risk. Los Angeles, a sprawling metropolis, is no stranger to heat, but climate change is turning up the dial. The city's concrete jungle, with its lack of green spaces, exacerbates the urban heat island effect. This means that temperatures in urban areas can be significantly higher than in surrounding rural areas. The consequences are dire heat-related illnesses, strained power grids, and an increased risk of wildfires. California's agricultural heartland is also feeling the heat. Extreme temperatures wither crops, reduce yields, and threaten the livelihoods of farmers. The state's iconic forests are tinderboxes, vulnerable to wildfires that are becoming larger, more frequent, and more destructive. These fires release massive amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, further fueling climate change. Scientists warn that this is just the beginning. As global temperatures continue to rise, heat waves in California are projected to become more frequent, more intense, and longer lasting. The consequences for human health, the environment, and the economy will be severe. The choices we make today will determine the future of California's climate. The situation is dire, but not hopeless. We can still avert the worst impacts of climate change if we act now. We need bold and decisive action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, transition to renewable energy sources, and invest in climate adaptation measures. This requires a fundamental shift in our energy policies, our consumption patterns, and our relationship with the planet. California's plight is a stark reminder that climate change is not a distant threat. It is happening here and now. It is a global crisis that requires a global response. We must work together to reduce emissions, invest in clean energy, and protect our planet for future generations. The time for action is now. The fight against climate change is not just the responsibility of governments and policymakers. It is a shared responsibility that requires the participation of all sectors of society. We can all make a difference by reducing our carbon footprints, supporting sustainable businesses, and advocating for change. Every action, no matter how small, can contribute to a more sustainable future.